Hey guys, so today we are doing a zip bag, yay! And this is our super simple, easy zip bag. There's only a little applique on it. The thing that's gonna make it difficult is that I decided to go insane and decide not just to use glow-in-the-dark vinyl on the inset, but also glow-in-the-dark thread, because apparently I hate myself and things are not easy enough or hard enough in my life. So this is one version of what it will look like when it's all finished. And since I have all kinds of colors of glow-in-the-dark vinyl and glow-in-the-dark thread, the pictures on the web are going to be all different because I special that way. What do you need? Well, you will need, obviously, some medium weight cutaway in your hoop. You'll need the pattern. This is the Nightborn Born for Christmas glow-in-the-dark Jack and Sally bag. You'll need plain, regular black marine vinyl. You will need 2 pieces of 3-inch gross grain ribbon. You will need 2 lobster claws or D-rings, whatever you use. You will need a 7-inch or greater zipper, depending on what size bag you're doing. And you will need some glow-in-the-dark vinyl. And you will need some glow-in-the-dark thread. So, just like every other bag you've ever done, hoop up your stabilizer, throw it in the machine, and run color stop 1. Back in a minute. Okie dokie, there we go. There are our, if you want to do a side attachment for a wristlet, and there are our top attachments. So we are going to take 3 inches of gross grain ribbon and 3 inches of gross grain ribbon. So we're going to put the gross grain ribbon out of the way so that it does not get in my way. And we are going to take our lobster claws and our D-rings, and we are going to fish our lobster claw, our ribbon through our the D-ring part of our lobster claw. And then when we put this down, we want it to be approximately 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch down below. Okay. Our die line, and then we want to turn our lobster claw so that it doesn't hit anything as it tacks down and sews. And I'm going to tape that out of the way because you know how I feel about jingly jangly bits in my machine. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side because it's really not that hard. 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. There we go. Then we're gonna lay this buddy down so that it stays out of our way and doesn't get all sucked into the machinery. And I snap a needle and things make that horrible sound. And I go screaming and running across the room and scare the cat. There we go. Now we're gonna put it back in the machine. We're gonna run color stop 2, which will tack those down, and color stop 3, which will give us a vinyl placement line. Back in 2 color stops. Okay, here we are. There's our die line. So we need to pull up this little piece of tape. And this little piece of tape. And now we're going to put down our zipper. Remember, your zipper needs to be about 1.5 to 2 inches bigger than the width of our bag. And since this bag is 5 inches, we need a 7-inch zipper. So there we go. And we are going to tape this bad boy down. Okay, and we want to make sure that our zipper is between these 2 lines. See those 2 lines? Those 2 lines. Okay, the zipper is 1 inch across, including the ribbon, and that die line has a width of 1 inch. So we are just going to carefully make sure we are nice and straight and even. And I'm just going to put a couple little pieces of tape to make sure that that zipper doesn't move or wiggle or waggle. And then we're going to put it back in the machine and tack down our zipper. And when we come back, then we will put our first 2 pieces of vinyl. And yes, I'm taping the zipper head out of the way so that, again, metal bits in my machine, no. And so here we are. Our zipper is all nice and tacked down. It's now time to put our vinyl down. You're gonna need, for the 5x7 bag, 2 pieces of vinyl. One is going to be 5 3/4 inches wide by 6 inches long. And the other is going to be 5 3/4 inches wide by 1 3/4 inches long. So I started to unravel my ribbon. So I'm going to trim that. Then I'm going to take my big piece and I'm going to put it right down here. Yeah. And I'm going to take my small piece and put it right there. And I am just going to use 2 little pieces of tape just to make sure that this does not wiggle waggle, shift a little bit while it's stitching itself down. And then, yep, you can see what I'm doing now. There we go. All right, that's all nice and straight and even. Our vinyl on the bottom is bucked up against the teeth down here, and our top vinyl is bucked up against our, well, we were, until I decided, hey, I want to straighten that piece of tape, and then I messed everything up. Oh boy. Why do I even pretend I know what I'm doing? And now I've put it on there all crooked and lopsided and it won't tape down, so we're gonna do it this way. I should have just left well enough alone. It's like in the morning when you're getting ready and you're gonna go somewhere and you're messing with your hair and there's just that one little piece that you wanted to do different and you go whoop and all of a sudden the whole thing looks horrible. Okay, now we're gonna tack that down and we will be back in a second. Actually, go ahead and run Color Stop 6, which will tack down your vinyl, and Color Stop 7, which is going to give you the die line for your glow-in-the-dark vinyl placement. So we'll be back in 2 color stops, 6 and 7. Okie dokie, so here we are. We've got our die line down for our glow-in-the-dark vinyl, and we are just going to float that little piece of vinyl right there. If you're feeling paranoid this morning, if you woke up on the slippery side of the bed, then you can go ahead and put a little piece of tape in each of the 2 corners or 4 corners, or whatever you feel like, but you don't have to do anything. Pop that in the machine and run your zigzag cut line. Back in a second. Okie dokie pokies, here we are. We have tacked down our glow-in-the-dark vinyl. So we are going to take our duckbill scissors and we are going to applique trim that bad boy as close to the zigzag as we can possibly get, without actually cutting the stitches. And for all of you playing our home version of this game going, oh my God, how does she get so close? How did she get so good? I've been doing this a long time. Do not get skills envy. You too will be this good if you practice as much as I practice. Practice, practice, practice. That's how you get to Carnegie Hall. All right, now, we are done with that part. See how pretty? Now we are going to put it back in the machine and we are going to run Color Stop 8. Color Stop 8 is going to do this bean stitch scene on the interior. Color Stop 9. Now I'm going to do Color Stop 9. That's the cemetery gate scroll work at the top, or at the bottom and at the top. That I'm doing in glow-in-the-dark thread. So I am going to coat my glow-in-the-dark thread with silicone thread lubricant, like Sewer's Aid. 2, I'm going to move my glow-in-the-dark thread like way across the room on a thread stand so it's got all kinds of space and room not to get all tangled up. And 3, I'm going to slow my machine down way down to 350 stitches per minute. It's going to take forever. But it'd also take forever if I ran it at full speed and had to keep rethreading it for snaps and breaks and shreds. So we will be back. Oh, and we're also going to run Color Stop 10, which is going to satin the outside of the glow-in-the-dark circle and frame it. So we are going to do 8, 9, and 10. 3 color stops. See you in a while, folks. Okay, guys, we are back. We have stitched everything on our design. It is now time for our little half lining dealio. So we're going to take some Ollie Fun. That is its trade name. I have no idea what this stuff is called. I've heard it called ripstop, but when I made flags for the drama babies and for various groups and organizations, the ripstop I used would fray and come apart like crazy. So I'm not real certain what this stuff is called. You do not have to cover the whole back. This is just the piece I already had cut. We're going to throw it back in, and it's going to tack that down. And we'll be back in just a second. And so here we are. We have done our Ollie. Ollie Fun, O-L-Y-F-U-N. And again, that's a brand name. I don't know what the actual material is called. I call it reusable grocery store bag fabric, but I don't think that's what it's called. We're going to trim just a little bit of it away from the zipper and just a little bit at the top of the side so that we can do our zipper trick. So on our zipper trick, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open the zipper to about 2 fingers from the far side. Not the Gary Larson far side, the far side of the bag. Huh. And we are going to tape that down so that it doesn't go floppy floppy. Then we are going to tape our transition down, and we're going to pop it right back into the machine. And just so that I don't forget later, I'm going to put a little rip right here so that later when I try to turn this, there's an actual hole. And it's going to tack our zipper and give us some cut lines. Back in a second. Okay, so we have run our little, the first step of our little zipper trick, and we have tacked down the zipper on the left and right side. We're going to go ahead and cut the teeth out of the ribbon, and we're going to leave about 1/4 of an inch of the teeth, but we're going to take and cut the ribbon all the way to that dial line. So once we've got the plastic teeth cut away from the ribbon, we're going to lift it up, and we're not going to cut right here at the line. We're going to come back about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and now with these ribbons, we're going to lift this up, and we're going to grab our seam ripper, and we're going to tear a little hole in our, well, it's not a hole, it's a, ooh, wait a minute. It's not wanting me to do that. I think my seam ripper needs to be sharpened. So we're going to do it from this side. We're going to just put a little slice in right there. And we are going to fish our tails through, just like so. Yabba, blah, blah, blah. We're going to put our tape back down so that our transition goes smoothly. We're going to come to the back, and we're going to cross our tails, just like that. We're going to take a little piece of tape, and we're going to tape it down, just like that. Then we're going to come over here, and we are going to lift this tape up, and we are going to cut our teeth all the way, the ribbon away from the teeth, all the way down to the stitch line. And then we're going to leave about 1/4 of an inch of the teeth, like that. We're going to lift our tails, and that's going to be hard to get in there too. So I'm going to flip it over and do it from the back side. We're just going to run our seam ripper right along the edge, put a little gash in so that we can come back over here and tuck our tails in. Ugh, I am having all kinds of problems. Tuck, 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 tuck. There we go. Pull those guys through. Okay, just like that. Then we're going to cross our tails, just like that. Okay, we're going to take a little piece of tape. There we go. We're going to tape them down just like that. To make sure the front's all taped down. We're going to put it back in, and we're going to tack those real good, and then we'll come back and we'll cut for our lobster claws and put her back on. Back in a second. Almost done, folks. Yay. So we are going to take up an awful lot of tape. And if you see any of those little hairs or raggeties hanging out, you might want to take this opportunity to go ahead and cut them. Ooh, tape everywhere. Okay. Then we need to come up here to the top. Well, we're going to flip over. And we're going to trim this stuff away. As so. Then we're going to come up to the top. And we are going to cut on the left and right side of each of the top ribbons a little tab like this. And like this. Oops. Then we're going to take all this tape up and we're going to fold these assemblies down. Yay. Ugh. And make sure that they clear our stitch path, both the hardware and the tape. Yes, just as so. Okay, now we need to put a back on that thing, don't we? So we are going to need a piece that's about 6 by 8. And we are going... Sorry about that. I got a phone call right in the middle of the video and I didn't realize the video turned off for the stupid phone call. And it was spam. It was a telemarketer. So, yeah. So we've put a piece of 6 by 8 vinyl on the front face down because we'll be turning this bag. And we've taped it a little bit and now we're going to put it in the machine to tack that all together. And here we are all finished up. So one of the things that I like to do while it's still in the hoop is come back here and trim away all of the stabilizer that is over my zipper. That way I have the weight of the hoop holding everything down, and that helps me to avoid snipping the stitches or cutting the zipper. Both of those are big problems for people who rush and don't pay attention. All right, there we go. Now we are going to unhoop as so. And we are going to take our ruler and our roto cutter, and we are going to do 4 quick little cuts. And we want to cut about 1/8 of an inch away from our seam. Careful, go nice and easy and pay attention to what you're doing. You don't want to slice your bag in half at this point. That would really suck. Now we're going to flip it this way. And we're going to flip it this way. Then we're going to grab our scissors. Ooh, I didn't cut that very well, did I? Yeah. Good thing we're grabbing our scissors. And we are going to curve our corners. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to curve our corners so that when we turn this bag right side out, there's less of this mashugana down in the corners so we can get a good pokey outie. All right, there we go. Now we're going to stick our hand in there and we're going to look for tape. We're going to go spelunking. There should be 3 pieces. There should be 3. So that's 1, 2, and come here. And 3. Yay. Now we're going to try and get that zipper open as wide as we can. Because now we're going to turn this bad boy. And I like to put a finger on the inside and a finger on the outside and turn around the outside finger. Wow, okay. Org. There we go. Well, that didn't work. Let's come up here and see if we can't do the finger and the whole thing. There we go. And that one, yeah. But this down here just decided it wanted to do its own thing. So let's make like a puppet and shove our whole hand in there. Okay. Kermie feels violated. All right, now we're gonna poke our corners out. Remember, you can use a crochet hook, you can use a chopstick, anything with a nice rounded tip so that you don't punch through your vinyl, because that's something else that would suck. There we go, there we go. And now, I'm gonna roll some seams. It's still gonna have to spend the night underneath some books to get our seams, our rolls trained, but for the most part, there she blows. Peace.